Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Wednesday, November 13th, in the middle of a back-to-back for the Celtics. By the time you're listening to this, they will have played the Nets as well. We'll have the recap of that game in this one, obviously. And they just lost to the Hawks last night. How you doing, Sam?
They better not lose. 2 in a row with a 3-game break or 3-day break or two. I forget. I think I call it a 3-day break, but you might call it a 2-day. We disagree on that. 2 days between
2 days off.
Two
Yes.
off days in a row.
It's
very tough. Very tough to think about. Very
Yeah.
tough to imagine sitting stewing about two. I mean, losing to Brooklyn would be a bad loss. Losses in a row. That would not be fun, but overall, not bad. Fun show today. We'll have the recap for you. We will have maybe some hope for the NBA Cup. We'll go around the rest of the results for the NBA Cup, and then we've got some other around the league stuff before the Rat List. Make sure you stick around for all of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you thought of the Nets game, and hit the bell because new pods drop every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, and other videos are up on the channel on the other days. Every morning we're here. Don't miss it.
Yes. Yeah, we're here. Ready to rock for the Nets game. I will say, so I've been like dealing with this congestion, whatever, and I don't know if it's allergies or something, but I got home from the game, the Hawks game. I got home and I make the thumbnails, and so I do like the face, like one of our faces for the thumbnail. And you were in the last one, so I was like, okay, I'll be this one. But my lips are so chapped that it made it look like I had lipstick on in the thumbnail. Like that you can see it still now. They're so red.
I'm gonna go look.
Maybe it's not as pronounced, but I was making it and I took the screenshot. I like blew up the picture and I was like, what the hell is on my face? But dude, it's been so bad. I think it's because it's so cold and I like it cold in my room, but man, it is not fun. But
I don't have the thumbnail that has your face on it.
Yes, I guess it makes sense. Also we're posting like a little TikTok-esque recaps of the games now, so if you want to check those out too. It's a little weird on YouTube because it shows up. I know it shows up. So if you research it, excuse me, they extended shorts to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But there's this like whatever bug in the YouTube system that it shows up in the videos tab, not the shorts tab. And they said it'll be fixed in a couple weeks or so or something like that, where it'll like the YouTube or the YouTube like internal systems will reorganize it into the correct places. But if you want to see that, you can check it out on the YouTube somewhere under shorts or videos, or on the TikTok or on the Instagram or on the Facebook. Those short things will be everywhere, and that's on top of the normal videos. Like that is wholly different from what we are doing.
How's day one going? We do a live check.
For what? The YouTube or TikTok?
TikTok.
Like 900. It's not anything crazy. But yeah, so you can check those out as well. Anyways, let's jump into a recap of Celtics Nets. All right, we are here after the Celtics win over the Brooklyn Nets on Wednesday night. I was not home for most of this game. I caught the third quarter in the car, the fourth quarter once I got home, but the first half was blind. I watched the highlights, so I don't have a full comprehensive view. But the Celtics walk out with a 139-114 win over Brooklyn, bounce back from their loss to the Hawks on Tuesday night, second night of a back-to-back, get one without Al Horford. Good overall game. Big Tatum night. From everything I saw, that was every single play that I caught was just Tatum being a monster, but good game all around for the C's.
Very good game from the Celtics. This is what I'm writing for Celtics blog. Little preview if it's not up yet. Big time walk the walk spot for the Celtics, who essentially went to the podium last night and said, hey, we're real sorry. Our bad. They came out after giving up 20 offensive rebounds and turning the ball over 20 times to the Atlanta Hawks. They turned the ball over 7 times and allowed 3 offensive rebounds against the Nets today. So a quarter of the total extra chances they gave the Nets tonight. On top of that, Tatum, who looked like he really re-aggravated his ankle injury yesterday, looked fantastic. He was the best version of Tatum. Like, made all the threes, 5 of 6. Didn't matter if they were watch this threes or not. He was aggressive going to the basket. That was really the oh my God moment from him to me. Because early in this game, the Celtics kind of came out and said, hey, we might suck again. They went down, not as egregiously down, but down to the Nets early. and he was the one that really got them going in the first quarter. He had 13 points afterwards. He had some crazy finishes at the rim. He was going through 3 people after he took off and maneuvering his body, getting the ball up off the backboard. It was a really impressive showing from Tatum today. Not to mention he nearly had a triple-double, and he only had 1 turnover with 10 assists. I was so happy to see that. And this is the best version of Tatum. This was the version of Tatum that you watch and you're like, "Holy shit, this guy's the best guy on the floor." Like, he's doing everything. He's passing. They don't have an answer for him. Nobody's guarding him. That kind of thing.
Yeah, from what I saw, the Celtics started off pretty slow, like a lot of turnovers, a lot of letting the net similar to tonight. They settled in. Offense looked good. Looked like, especially in that third quarter, they sort of put their foot on the gas and said, "All right, we're just a better team." From what my roommate told me, and I don't know how true this is, and because I only saw the highlights and everything, he said the Nets were being very physical, and even though the Celtics shot 24 free throws, he said the refs were favoring the Nets. I don't know how true that is or how whatever it is. I don't even know if Sam is listening to me because he's watching a second game right now.
I'm listening.
But yeah, Tatum played amazing. Like I said, every single shot that I saw go in was Tatum either driving to the rim and contorting his body and finishing at the rim, or making some crazy three, whether it be in rhythm or one of his, I'm going to dribble around and do whatever I want. Jaylen Brown wasn't particularly efficient, but 12 rebounds was huge considering how bad the Celtics were on the glass the other night. Looks like that was an emphasis for them. Tatum had 9, Brown had 12, Drew had 6, Pritchard and Hauser each had 6 too. So it just looks like they fixed all of the things that went wrong against the Hawks in this game. And I mean, 139 is a new season high for them. Made all the threes. Tatum looked awesome. Just like I said, like a good bounce back game, and led by Tatum, who was the best player on the floor.
Yeah, and that's really like the leadership quality. Like, this is the second time this season I really thought to myself, "Oh my god, Tatum really looked like a leader out there today." And that's a lot of a compliment to him because, not to say he's not somebody that players on the team respond to, but just to see him kind of take over in an oddly big spot. Like, this game wasn't a nothing game like it was, and it will be remembered that way. But if you lose again today, then it's going to start to get annoying when people are like, "Well, you've been shit for the last week. Like, what's going on?" They kind of silence that. I know Joe Mazzulla talked about after the game, was like, "Listen, it's just a day-to-day process. Like, nothing is fixed today." But they certainly looked like they had their head out of their ass today. And that's very encouraging for me as somebody who's supporting the team and also covering them. Like, nice. Very good. Good job, Celtics. You guys didn't get embarrassed. And they played a much more competitive game against the Nets today. Well, they competed harder today than they did on Friday. Friday's game was more competitive. It went to overtime, but overall, very good showing from the Celtics. You even got some good
Yeah.
Jalen moments too. Yeah.
So he didn't shoot particularly well in this game. Was he not finishing well? Was he like he obviously didn't like have a bad game. Like he had 24, 12, and 4. That's a fine game. Didn't turn
Yeah.
over the ball at all, which is good. But was it just like he wasn't finishing his shots down there? Was he getting fouled? They weren't calling it. Like why wasn't he the normal efficient self that he
There
usually
there
is?
was a couple where it felt like he got bumped. He got a lot of post ups today. There were some shots that he took. He took a couple foulaways that you're like, "Oh, that's a tough one." There was one possession where he got the ball with like 3 seconds left on the wing between the 3-point line and the paint, mid-range, and was just like, "Go to work, Jalen. Good luck, buddy." They threw him a grenade. So, like, I think the stat line is a little fake. It's not like it didn't feel like 8 of 19. It felt like he was there for them when they needed him to be there. When Tatum went to the bench, it didn't feel like the Celtics fell off a cliff. They continued to push and continued to compete. And again, like after Jalen was out, it's pretty nice to see him looking a little bit more comfortable than he was beforehand.
Okay, got you. The thing that I noticed the most in the second half when I was really watching the highlights, these two move the ball really, really well. 35 assists is great. On 50 made shots is great, but Tatum's 10 assists looked awesome. Pritchard had 8 assists as well, but some of those passes and those plays that Tatum was making, like there was one play in particular that I noticed. It was in the third quarter. He had just made, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 threes in a row or 1 or 2 shots in a row. But they immediately blitzed him and he just dumped the ball in to Keita, who got an open bucket. Like he was finding plays and passes and alley oops that were spawning from nothing at the like half court. Like it was very impressive to watch Tatum. navigate the floor as a playmaker because I mean, like you said, this is one of those games where you're just like, all right, that dude's one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. Luke Cornett looked good, got some backup center minutes, 8, 3, and 3 for him. Kada looked all right. He had 4 fouls. Was this a bad Kada game?
I wouldn't say bad. I would say he had 3 fouls in the first half, so he got it together after a shaky discipline start. He was still there for them. He made some good touch shots. Like his field goal makes were not dunks, all of them. He made some floaters, which was pretty cool to see.
That's
off of passes. So it was like
thing.
him showcasing an ability to be a non-alley-oop safety valve for the Celtics off of drives. Pretty good.
I take it you're watching the Pistons game on the side?
I am. Pistons in Bucks, 111 with a second left.
Did you are you behind me or did you see what just happened?
They are about to inbound the ball.
Okay, watch. watch the play.
All right. The ref has dribbled it 5 times. Cade has the ball.
Yeah. No call. He put his hands up. But did they? I think it was a foul.
Giannis looks upset. I also just rolled my chair back on my big top.
That sucks. I don't think that was a foul. They called it, but I don't think it was. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Sorry.
Well, the Bucks have no challenge.
Pod listeners. If they called it a foul, it was a bad call because it looks like Giannis got all ball to me. But another great inbounds play from JB Bickerstaff. Yeah, that's all ball. If that's a foul, that's a really bad call. Anyways, I don't know. I mean, Pritchard was awesome in this game. This felt like just from looking at the box score, from seeing everything. Okay, interesting.
Looking at the box score, like that, the box score is even better considering. Like at first, it was like, oh wait, like maybe he has just cooled off because he wasn't great yesterday. No, he still finished with 5 threes on only 9 attempts and 8 of 13 from the field. He was efficient. Very good recovery for him to score 23 points. The really encouraging guy for me today, I mean, Pritchard actually had an all-around game. 8 assists is very good. But Hauser actually made threes. Back.
Good to see. And from the ones that I saw him make, again, I didn't watch as closely as I normally do / I need to. He was making some like contested fadeaway in the corner, very quick release threes, which is the ones you want to see him make, which is a good thing.
Yeah, good off-ball movement. Great arc on his shot. He looked confident again. He came out right away. It was like almost immediately when he got in and immediately took a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately made it, nailed it. First one of the game. So from that point on, I thought that he was going to have a good game, but the supporting cast really did a great job today. Sorry, I'm struggling to speak. My body isn't really allowing it.
Big Drew game, question mark. It looks like Derek had somewhat of an off night, only 3 of 9, 3 of 11, but Drew had 16, 6, 4, and 3 steals. Does that represent how well he played?
This is fun. So Drew did some of the things that Nimi was doing in terms of being a safety valve. He made a couple flip shots. He just kind of moved without the ball today. I felt like, off the top of my head, I don't remember if he was really creating a lot. He did make a couple threes as well. He looked like he was engaged today. He was defending well. 3 steals would tell you that. And a block. 4 stocks total. Very good Drew night. The whole team just looked engaged. They looked like a team that knew that they had to respond today, and they didn't technically have to respond, but it was a spot where they had an opportunity to get their lick back, and everybody played like it. It came from the top down. Tatum was a monster, and the rest of the fellas followed suit. Like, even though Derek only had 9 points, he still didn't feel like he was out of the game. He was still making the right play. He was still playing hard on defense, and the whole, like, that goes from everybody. And you can't really say the same for the game against Atlanta. It felt like there was a lot of disengagement.
Gotcha. All right. Well, again, like I said, I was out. I was doing the tryouts and the evaluation, et cetera, for the league I'm coaching. So I was not able to watch this. So I don't really have anything else. Is there anything else that you think we missed that we should go over?
Garbage shot. Jordan Walsh looked pretty good. Made a 3. He had a steal. He was kind of running around out there like a maniac. and he
Drew
looked
Peterson
really
looked good too.
confident pulling the three.
I thought Drew Peterson looked all right in his limited minutes, but he looked comfortable.
Biggest take is I am happy to see Tatum back and Hauser actually making more than 1 3 a game.
All right. We can wrap there. You will not like Ron Holland's first free throw attempt. Anyways, let's throw it over to the rest of the show.
Don't spoil it for me, prick.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Pick also now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Sam and I use Prize Picks on the pregame show every single time. We love picking more on turnovers for opposing players. We love picking more on Jayson Tatum points, on Drew Holiday threes, on Al Horford threes. It's our favorite time of the show. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, we are back. Let's talk NBA Cup. So the Celtics obviously lost their first game of the NBA Cup to the Hawks. I don't know how many other teams in their group played their first NBA Cup game last night because I know not every team played. I can do a quick double check.
6
it looks
cup
like
games last night.
Yeah, and the Cavs and
Or maybe
Bulls.
7.
Cavs and Bulls didn't play, so the Celtics are 0-1 in their group. The Hawks are 1-0, but nobody else has played a game yet. So, if you'd remember, Celtics did lose a game last year and still advanced to the knockout stages of the NBA Cup. So it is possible, and it is especially possible considering they only lost by 1 point. So by point differential, they still have a good chance, but definitely not the start you would have wanted if you were rooting for the Celtics in the Cup.
Devastating. Very, very tough. I'm devastated. I wanted them to win the opening game. I was excited for the Cup, but they're not dead. They are not dead. Fortunately, not dead. The goal and the path to advance remains the same. The Celtics, as much as it sucked to lose yesterday, only lost by 1 point. That is the best possible loss you can have in the NBA Cup, is by 1 point. And I suppose a 1 point loss to a team that you don't expect to be the other top team in your group. Because if the Celtics won yesterday, they would still have to beat Cleveland to give themselves a true shot to be the best team in the group, assuming that Cleveland continues to be the other competitive team in Group C. Now,
Does head-to-head
Atlanta,
come first for tiebreaker?
yes.
Okay. I was waiting for you were talking. I was like, is he going to stop? Is he going to stop? Can I ask the question? Can I ask the question?
Yeah.
You kept...
Last year, the reason why the points mattered was because them, Orlando, and Brooklyn only had, I think, 1 loss. Or no. What it was if the Celtics did not win their group, they would be the wild. I forget what it was. There was a reason why the points. I'm pretty sure there was a 3-way tie last year. I'm going to pull it up right now just to double check.
There was a 3-way. There was a 3-way tie last year. The Celtics were competing with, I believe it was the Nets or the Magic to advance in the NBA Cup. And because the Celtics beat the Bulls by enough points, they were the ones who ended up advancing in that. The Celtics, Magic, and Nets were all 3-1. The Celtics and Magic, the Nets had a plus 20 point differential. The Magic had a plus 22, but the Celtics had a plus 27. So they won the group. And had they not won the group, then they wouldn't have advanced because the Knicks were also 3-1 in their group, and the Cavs were also 3-1 in their group, and both of them had better point differentials than the Celtics did. So they had to win their group if they wanted to advance.
Yes. Okay. Brain is back. Figured it out. Thank you for finding that.
Yeah.
But it's true. The Celtics still have essentially the same path in front of them that they would have if they had won yesterday. They just still have to beat Cleveland and then win the rest of their games, and they should be in control of their destiny unless Atlanta beats literally everybody else.
Yes, unless Atlanta Well, yes, unless another team in the group wins out, obviously. But like,
Bulls or Wizards? Who's it going to be?
yes, the unlikely is understandable.
Breaking news.
Uh,
Joel Embiid and Paul George will not play on Wednesday. Both of them not playing.
that doesn't surprise me. It's a back-to-back, whatever. But yeah, Celtics NBA Cup hopes are, we'll call it shaky, to say the least.
I don't say shake. I wouldn't say shaky. I'd say they're the same.
Not the same. For sure not the same, but definitely not as good as you would want it to be. But definitely not out impossible. Well, because the reason I say it's not as good as you'd want it to be is because now you have to beat the Cavs. You could technically get away with not being like undefeated or something, like losing. This is not the game you wanted to lose if you're going to lose one game.
Okay, fair. Yeah, that's fair. I think the goal in my head was always to win the group, and the path to winning the group is pretty much still the same.
You can still win the group. Yes, it's definitely not impossible. Lose again and you're cooked, though. You can't lose.
Even though if you go 3-1 and -1 is your point differential to start, is not bad considering.
It's true. Anyways, all right, let's go to the email here. Reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. Let's see what y'all have to say. Starting off with Philip, who says, the pride of Portugal. Fellas, I was going to write in about Keita, then my inner artist did this. This one's for RJ and the Keita believers. We always knew the pride of Portugal, only 2 minutes, requires your audio. All right. It's fine with me, Philip. You got me. Let's see. So if this is 2 minutes, I wonder, oh, what the hell? Hold up. I have to start over because I have to share the thing. But here you go.
Yeah.
You made this?
Name me a skater, big and tall. Wingspan so wide he could hug a wall. In the paint, he's blocking dreams. Every now and then, guards slip between. He's a 7-foot giant from the Lisbon coast. Portugal's pride, yeah, you know they boast. Dunking like thunder might break the rim. Refs hooking up like, shouldn't we take him? Coach says, Keta, I need you in line. Stay out of foul trouble and your time will shine. Yeah,
your tongue will shine?
Guards hitting turbo, dribbling past the show. Name me a Keta, big and tall. Wingspans to the wall. In the paint, he's blocking dreams. Every now and then, guards slip between. Keta's in the game and he's hungry to learn. Every block he swats, it's a badge he earns. Sometimes he slips up when the game's too fast. But he's back next play, not living in the past. He's man hustle, he's got the drive. Fans on their feet when he comes alive. Sneaky cuts, Keta's there to greet. Ball go flying to the nosebleed seats. Mimi is Keta, big and tall. Wingspan so wide he can hug a wall. In the paint, he's blocking dreams. Every now and then, guards slip between. Keta hits the floor, got his eyes on the prize. Every rebound snag, man, it's no surprise. He's got that muscle, a beast in the lane. You think you're free? Well, he's back again. Yeah, don't sleep on the kid, he's got the grind. Fixing those footwork, soon he'll be refined. He's blocking, he's dunking, he's reaching for fame. The pride of Portugal, remember the name. Yeah. Spans, he can hug. In the paint, he's blocking dreams. Every now and then, guards slip between. Yeah.
Insane. What the
Very
hell? That was very cool. That's very funny. He said lyrics are in description of the video. Be honest, any more of these, an HPTC one, a Missoula one, a KP one for Pete, your lame artist friend Pete. That was not, or Phil, sorry. That was not lame. And make as many of you want. That was very entertaining. I was enjoying thoroughly. So
that has been uploaded to our music folder.
What do you mean?
I just
in the
yeah.
I see. I was like, what?
We want to announce that he's playing or starting on a pregame. I figure it'd be fun to have.
That is very funny. So, like, okay, wait, I see what you mean. So I can just
yes, yeah.
Every time Nimi starts the game, you're just gonna hear.
Sam, would you like to guess the Celtics starters tonight? And then you hear the song start.
Thanks, Philip. Yeah, make as many if you want. If you make a KP one, we'll play it when he returns. Absolutely. So make as many as you want. An HBTC one would definitely be funny.
Maybe that'll be the intro.
Maybe we could change it up. We got Tommy right now. It'd be hard to dethrone Tom. Or no, it's Tommy and Max. So
Yeah.
next one from RJ. Long and strong Hawks neutralize the Seas. Even folks, my complaint about the Hawks loss is simple. After seeing time and time again that the Hawks are using their length and strong hands to force turnovers on slower telegraph passes around the perimeter. Excuse me. Why didn't the Seas try something a little different? Luke in the high post to distribute, maybe Al for that matter. It just seemed like a night where the Celtics kept getting beat the same way over and over. Be well, RJ. Yeah. I mean, they said it after the game. Like, they just got outplayed. They didn't adjust. They didn't play well. It is what it is. I think you definitely make some good points. They just kind of fed into the Hawks' length and physicality too much, and they lost because of it. But I think they get that, and I think they'll move forward.
I mean, they were very accountable in the press conference last night. How far does that accountability go when it feels like it's been a week of the same where they don't really play hard for the whole game? And, Milwaukee, we probably saw the best half from the whole season so far in the second half. But aside from that, like, Warriors game was ugly. Nets game was an ugly win. Yesterday was an ugly loss. Time to get it together.
Definitely. Last email from RJ once again says Celtics never figured it out against the Hawks. Hey, folks, a quick look at the clips of the turnovers and the 20 that they committed. 11 were the result of Boston underestimating the reach of Atlanta's players. I wouldn't be upset if 3/4 of them occurred in the first half and the Seas adapted their passing style and the game rode on. But no, Boston kept putting the ball where the lanky Hawks defenders could poach them. Here's hoping the Seas have a better learning curve against the Nets. Be well, RJ. Yeah, I think they just underestimated the Hawks. I think they just didn't think about how good this Hawks team could play against them because the Hawks aren't very good. And it bit them in the ass.
Slop was brutal. I mean, some of those passes, the turnovers were just ridiculous. Like, throw a good entry pass. Get it to the guy at the high post. It shouldn't be an auto steal if you're trying to get an entry pass in. Got to be better.
Yep. It is what it is. They'll learn from it. They always do. Anyways, let's move on to the NBA. Check out how some teams have been doing around the league. Can take a look at the standings as well as the NBA Cup standings, but we'll start with this. Cavs still sitting atop the Eastern Conference at 12-0. Celtics still second at 9-3 now, and there is still no more than two teams above 500 in the Eastern Conference. We are a few more days since the last time we spoke. That said, there are now three teams that are 500, but still nobody has gotten over that peak of the 500 mark to take hold of third place in the Eastern Conference effectively.
Very impressive stuff from the East. They're starting to come around. Watch out for the Eastern Conference. I would hate to play against any of these teams in a playoff series. God forbid. Oh, it would be Celtics Pistons round one. Devastating.
Yeah. Out west, meanwhile, 3 9-2 teams sitting up top. Suns, Thunder, Warriors, all 9-2. Nuggets at 7-3 have turned their season around very quickly. Rockets and Grizzlies 7-4. A lot of teams in there at 6-4 and 6-5 in the 7 through 10. Mavs and Spurs at 5-6, and then the Blazers, Pelicans, and Jazz are sitting down there at 8 losses apiece. So it's kind of how the West is shaking out at the moment.
I mean, it's going to take a little bit more time for us to see real separation, but if last year tells you anything about the West, you may actually never get the separation. Up until the final day, it felt like every team was right on top of each other for the play-in race, for the 5 and 6 spot. It was all very competitive. Even right now, only 4 games separate the first place Phoenix Suns from the 11th place Dallas Mavericks. For perspective, the Celtics are 3 games behind the Cavs right now. That's the diversity in the conferences. Does that mean that all of these West teams are around the same level? I don't think so. I still think there's outliers. Like, I think OKC, Denver are probably the top 2, with Golden State kind of knocking on the door. Like, they look a little scary right now. But aside from Steph, are they really built to compete at a high level in the playoffs?
Steph was a monster last night. He killed Dallas.
Into it. That was an awesome game.
Clay's. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to do it. Clay's return to.
I don't know. Let's go first.
Sorry, you go. Let's get into it. I'm like, all right, go ahead. Clay's return to San Francisco. They gave out Captain Clay hats, which was fun. But Steph Curry scored the Warriors' last 12 points, just killed the Mavericks' hopes of winning that game. Did the whole celebration thing, screamed at the camera. He was a monster. He made some big shots, got lively on an island. And that was an NBA Cup game. I think all of last night's games were NBA Cup games. So I'll pull up those standings.
Hashtag Cup.
So, yeah, the
Clay
Warriors.
was good too.
Yeah.
Clay had 6 threes in that game. I mean, it was a real duel between the ex-Splash brothers. And Clay clearly wasn't thrilled about leaving the Warriors. Like, I don't think he's come out and said ill will type things. But I think Cam was telling us at the game last night that Steph and Clay had talked the night prior to that game. And there was a planned Steph does a speech before the game to thank Clay for his service. And that got scrapped. So that was a competitive fire. I mean, the way that Steph celebrated after making a dagger 3, I don't know if I've ever seen Steph Curry get that hyped. He literally looked like a madman screaming into the camera. It's something that we really have never seen from him. He usually does the night. He has all his like cool celebrations, but that was like some KG shit that he was just like, rah. It was a really cool moment. Good crowd and Chase Center as always, by the way.
Basketball season is back, and I could not be more excited. Getting to watch my favorite team live in person is my favorite time of the year, and I get all of my tickets on Game Time. Game Time is the perfect app to use for all of your ticketing needs. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. It brings the best prices, the best deals for you to go watch live basketball right to the front. But it's more than basketball season. The Patriots are back, and the Chargers are coming to town very, very soon, and it looks like you can get a great deal to that game. Justin Herbert going to come to Gillette Stadium to hopefully play Drake May. He did get the start recently, so that should be a very, very fun quarterback matchup as well. My favorite part of the app is the fact that you can filter out the fees, you can look at the best deals, and it highlights what it believes are going to be the best deals for you to get the exact type of ticket you want. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, everything you want. I saw Noah Khan over the summer. I use Game Time to get my tickets. All-in pricing is another part that I absolutely love about the app. Toggling the feature shows the exact total upfront. Like I said, filters out the fees, tells you what you're paying with everything included. It is perfect. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
Yeah, he got pumped up. Steph was awesome in that game. This Warriors team's really good, man. Like, obviously, Steph is leading the charge, and it is a bit of if you lose Steph, you're going to tumble a little bit. But they've got good players. They've got great depth, and they've got the guy to lead the way. So,
Also,
I don't know what their ceiling is, but they're really good.
Draymond killed Gafford, and then he stared him down after. He pinned him on the glass, and as there's like the hardest picture of Draymond just looking down at Gafford, who looks like he just got like knocked out on the ground. Very tough look for the man.
Mm-hmm. Not great. Knicks beat the Sixers in their first game of the Cup. Embiid was rough. I saw some stuff on Twitter. I didn't get a chance to watch it because it was going on at the same time as Celtics game, but I saw some stuff on Twitter that was like Embiid's very clearly hurt. Like, it sounds like he was laboring out there, but he was bad regardless. I think he was 2 of 11 once the game wrapped up. Knicks got the win, and Sixers still on a downward spiral.
Yeah, I feel like there is some hope for the Sixers with Embiid coming back. I really felt that way before this game. If you wanted to compare them with Milwaukee, who has also been struggling. Yesterday doesn't make me feel better about that take. Embiid, you mentioned it, Jack, 2 of 11 for 13 points. He did make 8 free throws in this game. I saw several clips of him falling all over the place, looking for foul calls, people calling him out for it. Only had 3 rebounds as well. It's not the guy that won an MVP 2 years ago. He clearly does look like he's laboring a little bit. And if you're a 76ers fan, that's not very exciting. You got to be a little bit nervous because, I mean, he had all summer to feel better. And he doesn't look like he's feeling better at all.
This was the clip that I saw all over Twitter of Miles McBride just switching a screen and Embiid falling down and getting a foul
This
call.
shit's fucking comical. It needs to stop. I mean,
It's
I
embarrassing.
know the NBA can't do anything about it because they tried to do something about it by putting in like a flop tech and it just didn't work. I
No,
guess
they
what
can
they
do
do is
something
they
about
just
it.
stop calling it. Yeah.
Stop fucking calling it. Like
Yeah.
that's there is no they tried. They literally have the power to put an end to it, and they don't. It's awful. This is a terrible. If anything, it's a fucking foul on Kyle Lowry. He's holding he's holding Karl Anthony Towns through the screen. Anyways, probably the most interesting / entertaining game of the night
What was it?
was Eric Spoelstra blowing the
Yeah.
game against the Heat or against the Pistons. Pistons had a nice inbounds play. Jalen Duren threw down a lob, and then Eric Spoelstra tried to call a timeout, but they didn't have one, and so the game went from tied to Spo earning a tech, RE Chris Webber, and then Pistons put the game away at the line, and they got a 1-point win over the Heat, who have looked a little bit shaky this season.
And Jalen Rose was there, and we got a great cutaway to Jalen Rose. If this is the full clip with Spoelstra calling the timeout, thank you for pulling it up. I was just going to look for it. Spoelstra's whole instantly realizing that he fucked up his fire. It's so funny. Calls the timeout, goes back to the bench. He goes out to mid-court calling timeout, and then he realizes it. He starts walking back to the bench, and then they pan over to him, and he's in shambles. So then Malik Beasley makes a free throw, and the Pistons win. Pistons 5-7 to start the year. Pistons are here.
Yeah, Spo said after the game, there's Jalen Rose. Spo said it after the game. He goes, "Yeah, I just had a mental error." Like basically, like, yeah, I fucked up.
I mean, it happens.
My bad.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, of all the coaches who get a little bit of grace in that regard, Spo would be one of them. He's literally probably top 3 greatest coaches ever up there. He's getting up there very quickly. But yeah, good win for the Pistons.
Jalen Rose's eyes. He looks like a Muppet when they pan to him. He looks like he's just like he's got like somebody puppeteering
looks like Grover.
him. Yes. Yes. He's just like
yeah. Trailblazers also got a win in the in-season tournament, beating the Timberwolves. Bit of an upset there. Suns beat the Jazz. Bucks beat the Raptors, and I think the Magic also beat the Hornets. So I think
the brakes off the Hornets
for the in-season tournament last night as we're recording this. Next thing is Bronny James. I don't know what this is, so you can go ahead.
So Wendy was on the Hoop Collective today or yesterday, and he gave some insight into what the plan for Bronny is with the Lakers. Now, the Lakers have sent him down to the G League. He's gotten some run with the South Bay Lakers. And this is what Wendy had to say about all of it. He said, he's only going to be part of the South Bay Lakers part-time. He's a part-time G League player, and he's not getting on United Airlines to fly to these road games. I know he's getting somewhat special treatment and nepotism. That's fine. Honestly, I don't care. Like I said, it's normal. Don't know if it's normal. Now, I think it's actually detrimental to him. I don't like that. I don't know whose idea it was. I do. They're doing it. On this particular instance, I think that's gone too far. And I don't think it benefits Bronny. I don't think it benefits the South Bay Lakers. And I don't think it benefits LeBron at this point. And the beneficial part of it, like, does it benefit him? Does it not benefit him? Is really the actual thing to talk about. I think he makes a good point. Like, we all knew the bullshit was coming with this. Coming into the draft, my feeling, as ridiculous as all was, it just didn't feel like he was ready. The only way he's going to get ready is by getting reps, even if it's G League reps. He has to be out there. He has to be playing games. What good is it going to do him not to play games? I don't understand. I mean, I get maybe you don't want him to be swarmed on a,
that was the only thing I could think of. Like, I understand them not wanting to throw him onto like a random public flight because like he would just get harassed. Like objectively, he would just get harassed by the general public because people suck. But not having him play in every possible G League game is definitely not ideal because it definitely feels like he's not ready for NBA competition. Like I said, I still think he could be a good player, but like you said, the only way he can do that is to play games, and the best place for him to do that is the G League right now. I understand why LeBron wants to play with his son. It is objectively a cool thing. It's objectively this unbelievable thing that you'll never get a chance to do again. But for the sake of Bronny's career, it does also feel like dude, he needs to play in G League games. Like he just needs to get reps, and he's not going to do that in the NBA. So it's a tough position that Bronny is being put in, the Lakers are being put on, et cetera, and it's weird.
I kind of feel for like the G League guys. I also kind of feel for Bronny. I think Bronny's being put in an awful spot for what it's worth. You got to imagine the guys playing on the South Bay Lakers don't love all this either.
What do you mean?
You think if you're fighting for your NBA life and this is a whole charade that you have to put up with trying to make a NBA roster, you think that's fun?
I mean, I don't think it affects them that much. If anything, it's probably better for it.
No,
what do you mean?
It would annoy the fuck out of anybody.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
If anything, that just means there are going to be more eyes watching them. To like, if any, like there are going to be more people watching their games objectively, bro. So it's more than like in the grand scheme of the season, there will be more people watching them than there would be otherwise. Objectively,
is Bronny on a 2-way or is he on a
standard? Well,
that's one reason I would be upset.
Sure, okay, but like this whole situation of I don't know, like maybe it's just like you're sick of hearing it, but like I don't think that annoys. I don't know. I don't know how this affects them other than there will be more people watching them. Maybe it's annoying that there's always a spotlight on this guy and you're annoyed that like spotlight's not on you.
I think that along with like whatever press is at these South Bay games is there to see Bronny, and they're going to ask you questions about Bronny, and they're going to ask the coach questions about Bronny.
So maybe you're sick of talking about him. I can get that. But I'll tell you this. The people there to see Bronny would not be going to watch DeJuan Gordon. So he would just not have that press regardless. If Bronny wasn't there, he wouldn't get press. Like they wouldn't care. And I'm not saying that they're going to care about him now more because of Bronny. But I do think for as much of an annoyance and a nuisance as it may be to have to hear about it all the time, I think the benefit of having extra eyes, extra scouts, extra press, extra views on the game is a bigger benefit than the annoyance of having to hear about it.
I think despite the extra eyes, which is a good point, like you are objectively having more people watch these games, the extra eyes, one, are not coming from people who matter. The people that matter are already going to be paying attention. The people that are going to be making decisions to call people up to NBA teams matter.
I think you vastly underestimate the value of having generally more eyes on something. Because I get that having, more, the people that matter are going to be there, blah, blah, blah. Like having more eyes and a like larger audience to display what you can do is just always a better thing, even if the scouts are there. Like you want to impress the general NBA world more, like just as like obviously the people that are going to potentially call you up and give you a chance are the most important, but more eyes is always a good thing when you are in the G League where you don't get a lot of general eyes in the first place.
I think there's some truth to that, but like just look at the Summer League every year. I mean, the Summer League is probably more paid attention to than the G League in general. You have a lot of guys that are in the same space trying to compete for an NBA roster spot when there's actually spots to compete for, people watching them. But because the Summer League is an event in Vegas and a bunch of people go to it, it doesn't mean people that aren't in the space, like we're a little different. Like we're going to remember things we see. Like we'll probably take it with us that Kel'el Ware was excellent against the Celtics in the Heat opener in that G League run.
Sure.
I mean, Summer League run. But like Joey Hoops that showed up to watch the Summer League Lakers for Bronny is not going to remember the kid from Florida that was center. Like,
yes, but
and it doesn't matter if he does.
Like you're disregarding the fact that more media outlets are going to go and look at these games. You're disregarding the fact that more press. Like say they go to see Bronny, right? Like say they go to see Bronny, they have to write a story, but this media person sees like say I was assigned to the South Bay Lakers to see Bronny, right? I go there and say, hey, go write about Bronny. And I do my story on Bronny, but at the same time, Kyler Kelly has like fucking 11 blocks in a game. Looks like there's a incredible player. I'm like, holy shit, who is this guy? And you talk to the team like, hey, who's this guy? Can I, talk to him? Can I do something? That turns into a story about Kyler Kelly. That turns into something about blah, 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 something like that. That turns into, what I'm saying? Like regardless of if scouts are going to be at the game, regardless of Bronny, more eyes could lead to more opportunities. And when you are fighting for an NBA life, I don't care where the eyes are coming from. More eyes on a good game that you play is going to be a good thing. And I'm not trying to disregard the fact that it's a nuisance, right? It's got to be annoying to have to talk about Bronny all the time. If you are fighting for your own life in the NBA, if you are trying to get up there and all anyone wants to talk about is Bronny, like it'll get irritating for sure. But I also think when you are in a position where, like, if Bronny wasn't on this team, no disrespect to G League, like, what, you're gonna get a third of the viewership, like a fifth of the viewership. You're like, these guys sold out a fucking arena, right? And so, for as much as the general fan won't really give a shit about if Kyler Kelly has this massive game, you're gonna have 5%, like something, maybe a little bit more percent of the audience who genuinely just likes hoops that are gonna leave there saying, "Wow, I came to see Bronny, but like, who the fuck is this guy?" You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you have a few people in the ether who think that, it will be worth the nuisance of having to talk about Bronny, in my opinion. But I get that it probably is irritating to have to deal with it.
I think like you're also like talking about a group of people as the players that are like actively having to fight for everything, where it feels like this guy has it handed to him, and I think that can cause friction too. But we don't have to like talk about all that. But this has been a productive chat, to be honest.
Sure,
I think it was actually good.
All right. Speaking of the Lakers are apparently targeting a couple centers.
Terrible.
This is from Brian Windhorst.
No, it's from McMenamin.
Sorry. This is from Dave McMenamin. The Bronny thing was from Windhorst. Dave McMenamin said that the Lakers are looking at Jonas Valanciunas on the Wizards and Robert Williams in Portland, looking at potential options. I've seen Brook Lopez thrown around as well if the Bucks decide to shake things up, but it looks like the Lakers are targeting a center, which makes sense if their goal is to go back to the sort of defensive roots that won them the title a few years ago.
Keep Rob away from them, man. Please. Rob's been actually good, though. Rob had a 19-point game. That's really why I put this on here, is I want to talk about Rob. I think we hear the Lakers are getting everybody every year, so you take it with a grain of salt. I'm sure they are interested in Rob. I'm interested in Rob. I'm sure the Celtics would like to have Rob back, but they don't have the pathway to get him.
Rob makes sense. I mean, Rob had 19-9, 3-3, and 3, so he was all over the place for Portland. I think the deal with Rob is he's on such a tradable or acquirable contract that it just makes sense for a lot of teams in cap hell.
And also, Valanciunas signed a trade me contract with Washington this summer too, and I think that was part of the agreement. So, sure, that makes sense. I really hope it's not Rob.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I've seen Milwaukee for Rob as well if you want a little bit more athleticism, so just get ready. Rob will probably get traded. Rob will probably get traded this season.
Can teams not trade guys to teams I hate?
It's not how the league works, brother.
The Oklahoma City Thunder couldn't use Rob. They sure could.
Probably not.
No. Yes, they could.
I guess since
Hartenstein's out for half the year, Chet just got hurt.
I guess if both of them are hurt, but you have to trade somebody for Rob. And I don't think the Thunder are itching to trade any of their core pieces for another injured player. Another player who could get hurt. If your solution to your injured front court is trading for Rob Williams, you're probably not thinking about things the right way.
That's very fair.
Speaking of the Bucks, though, apparently the Bucks are just on the phone about trade calls over and over. So Wendy, I believe on the Hoop Collective, said, quote, "I was on the phone with this team and I go, 'Hey, have the Bucks called you yet?' And they were like, 'No, they haven't called us.' And I go, 'Well, I just talked to like 4 teams in the last day. The Bucks called.' And he's like, 'Yeah, they haven't called us.' And then he's like, 'Wait a minute, Bucks on the other line.'" So it sounds like the Bucks are just on the phone calling everybody. And yeah, I get it. I mean, we just did a 30-minute segment on our last pod about what the Bucks could do for trades, et cetera, et cetera. And they're rough. They're in a tough place right now. It does feel like some trades could be needed / on the way. And for as much as they are a second apron team, they do have some tradable contracts, at least like that they could split up into other deals. So it will be interesting to see what they decide to do.
Also, just for more perspective on the Bucks Pistons Wednesday at 8. Pistons 9.5-point favorites on the road. Just to give you a state
Who's
of the
hurt?
Milwaukee Bucks.
Dame.
Dame.
Okay.
Dame has a concussion. I don't know who else is on the injury report for Milwaukee, but Pistons 9.5-point favorites. That's like a Celtics number on the road.
Mm.
That's not good for Milwaukee. Things are not getting
No.
pretty. They did pick up a win against the Raptors in the NBA Cup, which was much needed.
The
But
Raptors, who are
man,
also
are they off to a
very
dreadful start.
Yeah, the Raptors, who are also dealing with some injuries. I think Scotty's out indefinitely. Emmanuel Quickly's out. Olynyk's out. Bruce Brown's out. So that was a I don't want to say Mickey Mouse, but if there was a Mickey Mouse win, that might be it. Anyways, Ratless Sam, what you got?
Rat List is my morning experience today. So I had the day off from work. I went to get coffee this morning in Providence. Now, when I'm in Providence, I always go to the same coffee shop. This coffee shop is located on I don't want to say a half street because it's a real street, but it's a one-way street. This street has a green line painted on the sidewalk. To my knowledge, was an indicator for you can park there. So anyways, I've always parked in this spot. I go in. I have to wait a long time. The coffee shop's credit card reader was not working today, and the people in front of me were like the people that they found out that the thing was not working today. So that took 5 to 10 minutes for them to figure that out. Then I go out and I find a ticket on my car. I'm not thrilled. It doesn't matter that I got a ticket in terms of it's not going to stack on my driving record. I don't care about that. I'll pay the thing. It's more on the principle I have parked here hundreds of times and I've never had a problem. And I was in there for 15 minutes. Can we all be fucking serious? You got nothing going on? You got to go give me a ticket? You know what I might do? I might keep, how when you get a ticket, a parking ticket, they put it in an envelope.
Or you just keep the envelope on your car so it looks like you got to take it every day?
Yeah, I might do that.
If they actually look at that, you will get a much larger ticket for sure. I don't know for sure, but I can only assume that if you try to trick the person, at the very least, they will assume your car has been there for that long and give you a ticket for having your car there that long or tow it. Or they will see, this car wasn't here yesterday. This is an old ticket. He's trying to pull some fuck shit. He's getting a bigger. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine that would be a foolproof plan. But I have seen what you are referencing. Ratless, me sneezing, man. I've had to pause. I've had to turn my camera off so many times to blow my nose during this show. It's been brutal, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I've been like crying this whole time because I can't stop sneezing. I can't stop having a runny nose. And I did listen to Muse's comment, giving myself like a massage right here in the shower yesterday. I'm going to do that again. But it has not been fun.
Rat List is the MLB offseason, not in a bad way. Apparently the Red Sox are in on Juan Soto. It feels like the Red Sox.
Is that real?
Here's where I'm going. It feels like the Red Sox have become the Miami Heat of MLB rumors, where they're getting everybody until they don't get everybody. And it has a lot to do with ownership being cheap. Now, I did see a picture that John Henry was out and about in the city and took a picture with some guy. So if he's showing his face again, they might be back.
Rat. That guy sucks. I will say, I do want the Red Sox to be good because Red Sox games are fun. Baseball games, I think, are objectively fun to go to.
I agree.
And I think it would be very fun to watch the Red Sox in the playoffs again because playoff baseball is also very fun. Playoff
non-basketball stuff, nothing better than playoff baseball when your team is.
I agree. Playoff baseball is a good time, especially because I'm right in the city, so I could just go to games now. Although if they're good again, they might jack ticket prices, so that wouldn't be ideal. Ratless non-local trains. This is very random, and it's not a huge inconvenience because the walk from one stop isn't too much worse than to walk from another. But I was going home from the Garden last night. First of all, so I left a little early because Tatum didn't speak, so I got to leave early.
Big day for us yesterday. Big victory.
But so I take the train from North Station, but I have to get off at Government Center to switch to a Beeline train because Beeline trains don't run to North Station; they run through Government Center, which is fine. But I get there and I have to wait like 10 minutes for a Beeline train at Government Center, which is annoying because at that point I am just on the same time period I would have been if Tatum had talked. Right? Like, what the fuck is the point? I should have just stayed. But then I get on the train and we're riding there. They go on the intercom and they're like, "This is not a local train. We will not be stopping at every stop going to Harvard," which means they just like skip through some stops. They just go to the big stops. So I have to get off at like a stop 2 earlier than mine and walk from there instead of just going to the one that's like 30 seconds from my house. Which again, it is like a 60-second walk versus a 5-minute walk, right? It's not the end of the world.
Oh,
Walk
it's not
5 minutes.
too bad.
But it's just like the point of like, fuck, because we won't stop unless you press the button, unless you press the thing that says stop requested, and then we'll stop at your stop. This one was straight up just like, nah, we're going here and then we're skipping it. I'm like,
they should just do the
what do you
stop
mean?
requested always.
Exactly. Well, then they run into every single stop is requested, but it's just annoying.
Yeah, there are better times to walk home than like midnight in November, too.
Not fun.
It wasn't as bad. I will say it was colder out when I was walking into the arena yesterday versus when I was leaving because I forgot my jacket. So I was very worried as we were wrapping up, and I was like, man,
Interesting.
I don't have my jacket. I parked further away than I normally would park, but I did find my parking space streak is back. One game in a row, I have now found free parking.
Love that. That's huge. Let me see. I'm trying to think. I don't know how much more else I have. I think that just about does it. I don't really have any more else. Do you have anything else?
No, I don't. I'm not going to do that one.
All right. We can end there. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics here on YouTube, as well as following us on Spotify and Apple and all that same. Check it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you thought of Celtics Nets, tell us what you think of #TheCup, and make sure you hit the bell because Jack and I are here every single day with new stuff. Pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game, and other videos are there in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can also find our pregame streams on the channel too. They're a lot of fun. You can find us on Spotify and Apple. All pods and recaps are there for you. So if you follow, they go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We would appreciate that. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We love to hear from you guys. Philip sent us a great email today. RJ is the MVE, most valuable emailer, always there no matter what. So get them in, hbtcpod@gmail.com. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook is just the name of the pod. Like Jack mentioned, new TikTok-esque game recaps going across all of those channels too. So if you just want a quick hit or maybe just something different, check them out. They were fun to record. We had fun last night doing it, and they'll be there consistently. Jack's Twitter's at JackSimone NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.
Tic-tac